So I am very sorry. The background noise is not being created by me. It is being created by my neighbor who likes to blast loud music all day, interrupting my homeschooling and YouTubing and such. Do you know that there is a man who is basically living in a zoo? He's the last surviving member of his tribe, and he's living in an area in the Amazon where they have made it illegal to come within a certain amount of miles of him so he can live out the rest of his natural life in peace and die with all the knowledge, like the language and the history of his society, because he's the last living survivor, dying with him, I guess. And they won't let another person come into there to contact him. He's like living in a human zoo. And there's many other uncontacted tribes living in the same situation. So what would happen if you asked this guy if he wanted to get married, have children, and maybe pass down the knowledge and language and culture from his society to a next generation that would continue to live in this excluded area and be protected? I think he'd say, yes, I really want a wife. I really don't like living in the exclusion zone alone with no other humans being allowed to contact me. I really want a wife. And what if you, made it a contest? Do you think there's, not one single woman on earth would want to marry this guy? Uncontacted tribes should be contacted. If you're worried they're going to catch the flu or the measles or something, well, we have vaccines for those. And if you're worried that their society to be corrupted, why don't you explain to them that instead of having civil wars where two different tribes that are the people who have the lowest population on earth murder each other in some stupid civil war, and 30 or 40 men of their tribes go to war with spears and arrows and kill each other, when you would say, hey, you guys really shouldn't be doing that, because don't you know there's millions of people on earth, but you're precious. We've made this exclusion zone around you to keep you safe, to preserve your ancient culture, because you're unique and one of a kind, or a few of a kind, and open your eyes and don't be blind. Can't you see? You're two of a kind. Don't murder each other in some bow and arrow war. What if one of the women wants to not be forced to live primitively, grinding nuts and berries with stones, and she wants to be a YouTuber, documenting how her culture grinds nuts and berries with stones? What if she wants to get the fucking hell out of the goddamn jungle where she's being forced to live and go to a university and move to London and become a professor or a physician? Humans should not be forced to live in literal living zoos. What is this? We have to preserve uncontacted tribes, preserve their culture, at the expense of what? Their human rights? I think that a woman in one of these uncontacted tribes should have the right to have an iPhone like I have, and to make YouTube videos documenting her life, and she wants to leave, she should be allowed to leave. If she wants to live primitively in that society and document it and preserve it for future generations, she should be allowed to. But if she wants to go to live in modern society and go to college and become a professor or a doctor, or if she wants to even be able to have access to the internet and know what her options are, she should be allowed to. Uncontacted tribes should be contacted. They should be airdropped iPhones and cell phone towers or satellite sources or whatever it is to make people have satellite access to the internet. They should be allowed to know that they do not have to live in goddamn fucking zoos, and they should have the right to do anything I have the right to do. Like, control my fate. Sorry about the background noise, people. It's unstoppable. I've been documenting it since before my children were born, and like, seriously, just like I should have the right to be able to record a video in my yard with the background noise. I think these ladies, and also the men, I mean, I'm not just giving the men, I'm just really like talking about the ladies, because ladies always bear the brunt in these so-called traditional societies. Like, these ladies are like pounding nuts and berries to a pulp to cook for the men who might be beating them. You don't know if they can say yes or no to sex, or if they even know what consent means. You don't know what they're subjected to. They could be subjected to genital mutilation. It could be horrible. You don't know. And they don't know either, because they don't know what their options are, because they're being forced to live in a fucking zoo. And I think that in 2025, human society should be able to do better than this.